going to be showing you how to solo a Grandmaster Nightfall, the Disgraced, on a Hunter. So as you saw from the build there, the most important mods are as follows that you must bring with you. This is just what I ran. ING Fire Shield Break comes in super handy at the boss. Put it on. Right? ING Fire Shield Break. Then you've got Global Reach, Wrath of Rasputin. I had Powerful Friends on, so I couldn't put Rage of Rasputin on. Right, so I wanted the Powerful Friends, just for, you know, because my armor's not that best on my Hunter, as you know. I don't, as you will know, I don't play much Hunter. So I just wanted that, you know, you need the max mobility, because we're using Wave the Pathfinder, Nightstalker, bottom tree, with 6 Coyote. Now, there's different ways of going in Viz now, obviously, well there always has been, you know, Graviton Forfeit or 6 Coyote. Even Frosties. The best choice now is 6 Coyote, just because of the mobility nerf, but you must have 100% mobility. If you don't, you're in danger of dying when you're trying to do maneuvers like so. You need to make sure that you're doing that. So 100% mobility, which gives us, used to be a 9-second invis, which is now 11 seconds. So that's a 11-second dodge, sorry. So it's 11-second dodge, but a smoke bomb lasts 7 seconds, right? So obviously there's going to be a bit of time when you know, because of the mobility nerf, but with 6 Coyote you can still get a good amount of invises off until you start to lose it. This particular room, it's pretty difficult in that the anti-barriers shield all the ads. It's very important that you use an arc chestplate. So if you're going to use 6 Coyote, it's worth your time. If it's void or solo, your 6 Coyote, change it to arc, or if you've got another one stored, make one arc, because then you can put arc damage resistance on. Arc is linked to arc armor, void is linked to void, etc, etc. You must run at least one arc damage resistance. If you don't, you will be one shot by the snipers. And in this room there's loads of them, and it's so easy just to get hit just by one, whereas if you get hit and you're weak, that's fine, you can retreat. Right? So that's just an added thing, so make sure you're doing that. Obviously concussive dampener would help, but I just think double arc damage resistance was the way to go, and it saves me loads, and at the boss as well, when I probably should have died, but I didn't because of the double arc damage resistance. So it's great. I've got bomber on, so every time I get a dodge I get grenade energy. That's ideal. That's a solar. It's balls of war, so when we get a champion weak and finish him, we get ammo. Now this is the best place here to take out the anti-barriers. Wait until the anti-barrier comes here. You can manipulate that. It's in your power to do so, so do it. Okay? There's no RNG with that. They will actually eventually move over. Right? So always make sure we're reloading our pulse. There's major spec in it. This pulse rifle is called Stars in Shadow, which is obtained by a PvP. You need a solar weapon in this, and you need a good arc weapon. Obviously we've got the exotic grain launcher Anarchy, because we're doing the most pinnacle solo type stuff, so we use the best thing in the game, which is Anarchy. You can do a Xenophage run as well, it's going to work out really well. If you're going to run Xenophage though, then you need an arc primary. Now I use my tether here, which screwed because it hit that box, so that tether's just a rip. The thing is with this tether as well, you sort of, when you're in your super animation, you're locked in, so you could get wrecked. You don't get the damage resistance. I mean, you get heart of the pack, I guess, but you don't get like a Roman super damage resistance type thing, like maybe what other Roman supers would get, but you do get heart of the pack though. So I just sort of said, okay, that's my tether gone, whatever. But you don't have to be using your super at any particular moment, it's not required. You should be just using your tether, I would advise, as a time when you need to put insane amount of damage in at a certain point. It's essential or crucial. Do it then. There's no places where I'd say, right, tether here, tether there. Maybe if an anti-barrier is giving you grief with ads, you can tether the ads while the anti-barrier is tethering, while they're tethering the ads as well. You can shoot for that immunity basically with the tether. Okay? So that's a good way. Now also another thing, I've got the officer revolver on, which is a war mine cell weapon. That's where I'm getting my cells from. Now whenever we kill a champion, when the champion is very weak, swap to your hand cannon, you can use my setup to get the kill. You don't even need to shoot the champion, it'll actually drop a cell. Okay? Just the same as what like Witherhoard Icolos works, same thing. And it's just invaluable, that way you can shoot the cell. So when both anti-barrier champions are down in this particular room, things are a hell of a lot safer. So now we can go about our business, invis and smoke, and grenade when possible. There's captains that are annoying in this particular room. They have a lot of range, which you saw me take out earlier. Obviously we have to take them with Anarchy. It's the best way usually is, for any arc shields, is having one at the floor. Anarchy will just stick to the floor if no ads are there, and if the captain walks into it, Anarchy will then proc. Like right now, I done an Anarchy shot, it's on the floor. That's fine, it's not wasted ammo because the captain actually ends up coming back into the Anarchy shot. And then you probably want to do another Anarchy shot to the body, but he was already weak. But if it's a full health captain, best way, 2 Anarchy shots, one on the floor, one at the body. And that's just the best way of doing it. We've got a cell here, so we'll use that. Now the checkpoint, the triggers, now this particular run here isn't platinum run, so I don't get platinum. This video is for somebody who needs the Conqueror Seal. I've already got it, I'm not asked. I've got it from previous seasons, I'm not bothered so much. But for somebody who hasn't got it and they want it this season, right, then this is a video for them how to solo it. So it's not to get platinum. Anyone who's looking to solo Grandmaster, I would highly doubt that they're short on materials, because they're probably someone who plays a lot of Nightfalls anyways, Masters and Legends and so on and so forth. So they don't need the mats. So I'm not fussed on getting a platinum clear for this. So we skip the champion down below, the ads will despawn, ammo will stay up though, so if you've got any heavy rigs down below you can go back for that after you've cleared some ads up here, so bear that in mind. It will despawn though after so long. I've noticed with ammo, like if you leave it too long on the floor downstairs it will eventually despawn. So with this section there's going to be 2 anti-barrier servitors, a bunch of solo wizards, 1 anti-barrier is fighting the wizards, 1 anti-barrier will be fighting you in this room here. Now you can disengage from the ads down these stairs. This is our safety point. This with the Grandmasters, it's all about where you stand. It's not so much how fast you are. You don't have to be a fast player, you just need to have a great understanding of, right, the ads will melt me here if I stand here, etc. If I was just standing there and just start pulsing this servitor down, I'm going to die pretty quick, even with myself. So it's having a great understanding of that. It's not so much about, you know, doing things efficient. I mean, ammo's important, you know, but it's not so much about efficiency in terms of what is the best way of doing it. It's just about surviving. It's about being a good survivor, and I think anyone can have a go at that. So the anti-barrier is now shielded the 2 vandals. I could have used my super, but I didn't want to use it for 2 vandals, so we're going to come back down here, grab some ammo, see if the anti-barrier will disengage. Sometimes the anti-barrier will, which I mean by that is the anti-barrier will stop tethering the ads. You can take the ads out, but the ads are still on us. So we can also go invis and stuff like that in that room. Try and shift the servitor. Try and clear what any ads you can. This can be the most annoying part at times. Well, actually, there's a part coming up that's more annoying than this. Just put some damage in here. Very important as well on your officer revolver. You have a good roll, like an explosive payload roll. 100% you want that. Actually, it's the double ticking one. It's the timed payload. You can't get explosive on it, I don't think. It's just a timed one, but you want a good roll on it. Something with that on. It just makes things a lot better on Grandmaster enemies, because other perks like multi-kill clip and all that stuff, they're not going to help you. Whereas explosive payload helps all the time. So this is why people use these types of perks for Grandmasters. Because obviously the ads are way more tanky than usual. One more vandal alive. Even though it's one vandal can wipe us, right? So we have to, like I say, be cautious. Now we can start to sort of maybe do damage here because the vandal's sort of out of our way. We've got a shield break here. I think I killed the servant on this one. Obviously as well, if the anti-barrier is pressured enough, it will detether the ads. So there is that. That's another way of dealing with it. Now we're going to use Spores of War here because we want the ammo. We're not too fussed on getting a cell. We can get plenty of cells coming up. We want the ammo there, so try and do it because it's a good opportunity to do so. And if you can leave the brick on the floor, even better, because you need loads of ammo for this part. In terms of skips, what I've found, because obviously I'm on a hunter, the whole purpose of this run is what is the least amount of work. And the thing is, there's not many skips, but there's I would say there's three skips in total. So there's the server, the anti-barrier below. We killed the two. There was an additional one that spawned. We skipped that. So that's one skip. So that's going to save you, 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. It won't save much. And then in terms of what else there'll be skips, there's 2 anti-barrier champions after this section that you skip, which is very easy to do. So that's going to save you a few minutes. You're looking at 5 minute time saving there. So that's 5 minutes. Then when we get to where the boss spawns, there's a huge time save there, which I would probably say it's going to save you 10 minutes in total. Right? You're looking at, around about 15 minute time save. So it's not a huge amount of time, but it's still going to, just speed things up that little bit more. So we're just focusing on the wizards at this section. The anti-barrier outside will never be a threat because you're staying in this section. The anti-barrier is not going to push us. But you pick and choose the time when to do a stun. Right now we're not doing it yet. We had a cell there, if you noticed, but I could not shoot it. It was just out of reach. So that was unfortunate. I would recommend taking all the wizards first, but the thing is with this is that when the wizards are taken down, we'll get Curse for All. So that'll be the first spawn. You want to know the ad spawns. It's crucial to know it, because if you're caught off guard because you didn't know there was knights, then that's your fault for not knowing there wasn't knight, right? So you need to make sure you know the ad spawns, which that's why you'll end up seeing it in the video itself. We're choosing to get a stun now. We've got a nice angle. Try to pressure the servitor as much as you can, because what I've noticed with the servitor is the more likely you are to pressure and get damage in, the less likely the servitor is to teleport. A nade will help out massively, especially with this nade, because it's got bottom tree as the most powerful, one of the most powerful nades in the game. So it's very crucial to be doing it. If you don't want a servitor to teleport, then nade to stop them from doing so. Now this is where there's a load of knights. So there's 2 waves of knights, and each wave of knights is accompanied by acolytes. Right, now we're going to get a tether in here because it's useful to do it. Do some Anarchy first, and any knights we can get down in that super helps out huge. It just means that we can save Anarchy ammo for when it's important, like more important than right now. But when they're taken down, you're going to get a few more knights. But when the Boomer Knights stop, you'll get melee Arc Knights. Now you need to be careful with these Arc Knights because they can one-shot you. Now there's no radar on, and they can hide and then creep up on you. So you've got to know that there's 2 of them. So if you take one out and the other one hasn't pushed, he's somewhere, and you need to be aware of it because he could just come around the corner and then one-shot. Also, when you get finisher kills on them, they'll still hit you, even when you finish them, like so. You just saw that. He does his animation. Because these Grandmaster ads are so high in terms of their AI and stuff, they can still hit you as you're finishing them. Which is less likely to happen on lower difficulties of content. So it's just that. Now, this is the last spawn, so we got a few more for all. For all are dangerous. Everything's dangerous. So we don't want to mess about that too much. Obviously there's one more actually knight, so just be careful of that. Now he's either spawned in or he hasn't. If he hasn't spawned in yet, then you'll need to push up where the Shriekers are, which the Shriekers, by the way, won't open up until this wave's done. It's like a tick list. When the Arc Knights are down, Shriekers will open up. They'll make that audio cue to do that. Right, so you have to be on the ball with that. Cause if you're down on the ramp, Shriekers open up. You're down on the ramp. Even if you go invis, it could be a death because they track you in bottom tree invis. So you need to be careful of it. Now we're just trying to spawn in the next wave, which I believe we did, while getting hit by those boomers, which was annoying. Get an Anarchy shot. We're just going to do 2 on him. That's him down. So there's no more actually knights. Good. So then we can work on the shriekers. Now the shriekers, if you're far back enough like I am, you can just hand cannon them down. If you're good with Anarchy, you can get an Anarchy shot on them. The Anarchy shot though has to hit the spikes. If it hits the body like so, you'll just get impact damage and the Anarchy shot will fall down below. The Anarchy shot won't be wasted because there's ads down there, so they'll be able to sit in that trap. But I would just recommend, if you can't, don't be wasting all your Anarchy on this. Just literally just shoot them down with your weapon. It isn't so hard to do. Now this next section, once we get the shriekers down, we'll have to deal with the 2 anti-barriers. There's in total 2 anti-barriers on the boxes, 2 anti-barriers on the floor, and an arc shielded knight, a orange bar one, that hangs around the anti-barriers. So that's a lot of knights to deal with. So you're going to need plenty of Anarchy for it. If you do, however, run out of ammo entirely, so if you run out of Anarchy and you're low on other primaries, waste all your ammo and the game will actually give you some more ammo, sometimes more heavy as well. And if there's ammo, say down there, but obviously we're on a hunter so we can go and pick up ammo. But say you're on a different class and you need the Anarchy, you've got none left. Waste all your primary, the game will suck up any ammo on the floor and then put it in your weapons. And if there's no ammo there, you'll still get some ammo anyways. It won't be full ammo though, it won't be full heavy. There'll be some. Take the second shrieker out. As I said, on this particular attempt, this was the furthest I actually got in terms of sort of testing. I had already tested what I could skip on a lower difficulty. I knew already what I could skip and what I couldn't, for those that were interested on that. Because even though it's a lower difficulty, the mechanics of the thing's the same. It's exactly the same. The only thing with Grandmaster is that you're underpowered, that's it. That's all it means. So with the way these knights work is you cannot double knock them back. If you knock them back twice, they fall off the box. To avoid this from happening, you limit how many Anarchy shots you do, and you let them regain a footing on the box. Now I'm just testing range here, as I didn't know if this would be a run or not. Now I'm running major spec in this pulse, which is good and bad, but I think backup mag would have helped me out. I mean, it would and wouldn't, I guess. It would just mean, I'm not sure without testing it, but I think backup mag would maybe be better, which you'll end up seeing. I end up missing a lot of stuns, and having a hard time with these 2 anti-barriers. Probably the hardest time of the whole thing, just because of the range of it. If you saw there, the champ actually stepped in. See how he got staggered and then stepped forward. You want the champs to do this. Now we're testing range here now. What's funny about this is the knights, their arc wave has range drop off, which is funny, but it does. And I've actually found out where exactly the range drop off is. I was standing just too close there, but you'll end up seeing it happen. I find out the exact space. Now we had to reset there, which was unfortunate because there was a frawl left, which I didn't know was up. We had to reset the whole thing, which was a waste of ammo and a waste of time, but you've got to do what you do to stay alive, you know, that's what it's all about. I'm just finding the exact line and the best spot. So if you stand... Another thing as well, the acolytes down below can nade you from here, so if an acolyte nades you and you take a shot off a boomer, that's a death. I've got no healing rift, so it makes it difficult. This is where the hunter's not ideal. Okay? But as you can see, standing here where I am, I just figured out at that point, I can get a stun. I'm in enough range. The 27 bullets in my mag will just about take a shield. And the Boomerite can't hit me. Like, the shots look like they're going to hit me, but they're not. They've got range drop off. So they're just sort of hitting. They're not hitting anything. They just got range drop off. We're in good position with this champ now. I'm happy. I'm just a bit worried about nades that Acolytes are throwing. But that is annoying. I've got Disruption Break on my pulse, so the hand cannon is an option. But I'm down to 27 bullets, so I must get this stun. Which we do. I couldn't care less about the cell, shooting the cell. I just want to get that champion down. Get some ammo and retreat. So that's the first. And I buried that wasn't too bad. I only had one where the thrall push, so I was weak, so I had to retreat. But the one on the right proves to be difficult. Now, what I'm trying to do here before anything, because I realised from this run, because that's what you do. A good player will learn on the go from runs. They learn from failures and stuff. That's how I've always done it. Is that I noticed from there's a chance I could have wiped while trying to deal with the anti-barrier and having nades thrown at me. Luckily on the left hand side they weren't hitting me, but on the right side they might. At this particular moment I'm not sure if they will or not. So we're going to try and take out any acolytes we can. Yeah? And there's quite a lot. Getting a cell would have been so good for me, but I just didn't end up getting one, and I was using my pulse more, so looking to see if there's any primary droppings. My pulse isn't low, but I'm going to need a lot of it. Looking for any angles. We've got more acolytes. It looks like there's hardly anything down there, but there's more. We can invis down there, so we can invis, use our grenade and stuff. That's an option, which I do end up getting sort of frustrated in doing that. But that will be a way of clearing them out a little bit better. It's just ammo management, and right now my ammo management isn't the best because I've only got 9 Anarchy. I've used a lot of ammo for the previous champ, so my ammo is not the best. Pick up some primary. As you see, one shot from a boomer didn't even get us half HP, so you can see that the arc damage resistance is really helping out hugely for that. And I get some hand cannon kills. As you can see, time payload has no range drop off, which is always, well, it's always been the case ever since Destiny 1, which is why Fatebringer was so good and other explosive payload cannons were always good. And better devils and what have you. So now we know the range, roughly. On the right side it should work the same. The champions... let's get this acolyte first. So we want him to start shooting at us, which is ideally what we want. But I'm going to test I think I end up testing the range because the box might be further away on this side than what it was on the left. We'll just get him weakish, and we'll test to see if the 27 in the mag will do it. Our major spec is like, I believe it's 8% increase, which, as I said, a major spec Stars in Shadow, I mean, obviously depends on your range and your roll and stuff. I'm not sure what's on this one. I know Disruption Break, Killing Winds on it, but I'm not sure for the barrel and stuff. But 24, 27 bullets just about does it. So we get a stun here. Everything seems fine. Get a reload always. Re-Anarchy up. Get the stun. We're standing just at the perfect. As you can see, it's just around about the perfect place to stand. Re-Anarchy'd up again. as I said, in a really good position. Get our next shield break, everything is fine. But what the mistake is fatal here is I thought I could finish the champ off. As you can see, I've just wasted a lot of ammo there because of that. So, at that point we want to reset. We've got 2 Anarchy, so we haven't really got the sort of ammo to deal with him. I think I end up going down the ramp and stuff, get some ammo. So even there, you know, one little mistake can cost you so much ammo. That was 7 Anarchy there wasted just because I thought the hand cannon would do it, but it didn't. We'd obviously disruption break and stuff. It just wasn't enough. It was literally a shot off. It was unlucky, but we can... You don't want to wipe because of it though. Just because you've made a mistake, don't get mad about it. You know, just try and find some ammo. Worst case scenario, we're going to have to waste some time, waste some ammo maybe. Get your ammo back if that's what you had to do. But we just have to restart it up again. So that was annoying. That's probably the biggest mistake I made of the particular run. Because this run itself, like I said, it's 1 hour 40 minutes. It should have been probably in the realm of an hour and 5. Like a good run on a hunter should be about an hour. So what we're going to decide to do is just try and primary this champ down, which I believe I end up getting successfully. We've got some Anarchy, but as I said, there's so many champs. There's 2 anti-barriers down there. There's an arc shield. So we'll take advantage of the disruption break. I really wish I could run some like pulse rifle loader gauntlets. It's really... I'm happy they've done the old... they've put the anti-barrier and the overload mods and sortable mods in your gauntlets. That's fair enough. Right, they're all there. But why are they all there? I get it that it's linked to the... You know, your gauntlets is linked to the gun. But we can't run reloader mods now. So it just makes it hard work. You know, in terms of like, you know, that's what we used to run. You'd have the weapon mod in the gun, you know, rather than this. Now, what happened there is I got naded by an acolyte, so we had to disengage. So, what we're deciding to do, I mean, nothing's being wasted apart from time. We haven't wasted ammo that time, so we're going to take out the remaining acolyte. And I believe that's most of the acolytes killed, but we're going to try and fish any more of them out. Now I end up trying this location right here, which I don't recommend. Because the champ can hit us reliably, as you can see. You can do more damage your pulse, you can do more damage and stuff and reliably hit the champ, but at what cost? At a cost of wiping, then it's no good. So the previous place where I was standing is much better. I do believe we do get him on this stun, it's just we were experimenting with ranges and positioning, and that's the biggest thing you can take from the video. Like, you can see where to stand properly, which is here. If you don't have a good stars in shadow, like I said, it's a PvP drop. It drops very frequently from any PvP match. I was doing the bounties, prepping for next season and stuff, and they were dropping all the time. And it's a really good weapon. It's one of the best weapons. One of the best pulses in the game, especially with PvE, just certain rolls you can get on it. Disruption break, especially disruption break, is fantastic for dealing with champs and stuff. As you'll see, the animation of the champ, he steps forward there and then he steps in the Anarchy, so that's ideal. We're keeping an eye on our pulse ammo as well, because we only have 2 mags there, so we need to get him down, and we run out of Anarchy. An option is your tether as well, so this is probably what I could have done the first time but didn't. It's just a good way of just, like I say, burst damage, and then that's that bit dealt with. So that took us the longest time, which is very bad for viewing and stuff, but that's eventually how you can get it done, that section. So now we're dealing with the 2 anti-barriers and an arc knight, so we're going to have to see how the AI of these enemies work, which I didn't have a clue about at the time. On the master, they work a little different. Sometimes one anti-barrier will push you and one will stay back. Now on this one, they don't. They both push at the same time. Because obviously it's smarter AI. The AI is souped up a little bit more on this one. So, I experimented with a couple of different angles. This angle didn't work out the best. I can't mind if... I mean, it's okay. It's not so bad, this one here, because it just depends on how many champs see you. So there's that angle there. There's the crate to the right. And then there's a cubby inside. The cubby inside is a bit iffy. So I wouldn't fully recommend it. This angle, that angle I just saw there, this angle's not too bad, but the anti-barrier will side roll. And if he side rolls behind, like, this looked fine to me at the time of doing it. I was like, okay, it's fine, he's there. But I believe he side rolls into cover like so, which is just devastating because you can't push that. The knight will kill you, the knights will kill you if you do so. So that's sort of a good angle for cover, but bad if the knight side rolls. So there's no consistency with that one, so I don't know if that's the best angle either. So on the master run I'd done a couple of days ago, I took champs from different angles. So I tried this angle right here. I only used the one key and I could see straight away that's no good. Getting too much fire. So the far right's no good either. So it's kind of a game of where's the best place. So we'll get a smoking biz past these ads. What we're going to try and do here though is just try and get this arc knight. Because the arc knight is a pain. We're just gonna use some Anarchy on him, just get shot of him. Because we can get ammo back with these balls of war, so we're happy to use that there. Just to get shot of him, because he's obviously making things harder. So, with the cubby area, the problem with this is that there's 2 windows, and the middle window, they can both hit you in here. Even if you duck, they can sometimes. So it's not the end up being the best angle, I don't think. I mean, right here I saw an angle, sort of, but you know, he's side rolling and then the other champ's pushing you as the other champ is getting his shield up. So it's not the best. And this surprised me here, right there, that the 2 anti-barriers pushed, which I have never seen them do that, so I guess that's not a good angle either. So what we'll try instead, I mean, with a warlock, you're going to be alright, aren't you? I could do a healing with right here, and it would be so ideal just to take out the champ. I mean, obviously you've still got to sort of strafe in that healing, but it would be just so ideal to do it. Which is why, a lot of times, warlock's best choice. But I think the hunt is the best choice once you get past all of this stuff. Once you get past these 2 champs, it's a downhill. Like, the boss fight isn't a problem at all. Okay? It's just getting to the boss. Like, after this section, the run's done, essentially. Once you pass this, you just need to get past this section, as you're going to see the big skips that I can end up getting. So we're going to try this angle again. As I noticed before, this was the best protection. It's definitely the best protection. It's just where do they side roll to? Okay. We've got a knight on the stairs. We'll get an invis so we can get a shield break without getting hit too much. And then we're going to do 2 Anarchy and then just turbo. Get rid of one of the anti-barriers, because when you get rid of one, that's it. You're good to go at that point. So that right there is how you should do it in the end. So just invis around the map, get the arc shield down, get the arc knight down, the one that's got a shield. And then you can super one of the knights once he stops side roll and all that stuff. Like after the first shield break, do a tether Anarchy. That will take one. And then the other knight is easy pickings then. Because one knight alone's fine, but when you've got two of them, not so much. We'll do a bit of strafing, because we're weak there. Re-Anarchy up, get reload, make sure the champ doesn't get out of field of view. Another Anarchy, we're going to get him weak. Get his finisher kill, because you need the ammo. And then we're max. Well, 2 off max, but I'm happy with that. Once you've done with that, you're good to go. Everything's downhill from there. That section right there, particularly for the hunter, is the hardest bit of the run. Just because I can't reliably take the knights, and this is my first successful run on it, you know, sort of thing. So there's that. It's a learning process of learning the best ways of doing it on this class. But you can skip that section there. So there's 2 anti-barriers to take, a couple of snipers, just smoke bomb, invis past it. We don't need that. I wouldn't recommend getting on your Sparrow here, as your Sparrow can easily blow up. Because even though it's a public space, any ads that hit your Sparrow will like one tap your Sparrow, blow you up, and then that's a wipe. You go to orbit. Fire pit's on as well for acolytes, which doesn't matter so much, because we're never there anyways. We're never where an acolyte is. We're going to clear these ads here, because it's safe to do so, just in case they might drop me some heavy, maybe. But they didn't. Now imagine this section would be very difficult, just because you're fighting an uphill battle, literally. But if you can skip this, so this is what I practiced on a lower tier. I went in on legend, or I can't remember what difficult it was. Came in and said, right, what actually happens when I done it on legend? The funny thing is that I shot a cell and everything, the door opened, everything. We're on right now here. We're going to get a smoke bomb and a dodge at the boss. That's the first one. You're looking at your timer. Re-invis up, dodge, don't let the thrall hit you, and 2 invises will get us past all of that stuff. This is our safe place. It's not entirely safe, as you'll see. I nearly die a couple of occasions. But you've got to pay good attention to night position and acolytes. The acolytes are very dangerous to us. There's an unstoppable down there, but we don't need to clear the unstoppable. If we really wanted to, we could, you know, if we were going on a platinum run, we could do this, what we're doing here, and work our way backwards. And this would be way easier. Like the antibarrier up top, he wouldn't be a problem, because we're taking everything out from here. We're taking everything out from here. The unstoppable doesn't push us, nothing. The biggest thing is the acolytes. So he keeps nading, gets us pretty weak. That's nearly a wipe. So having saw that, right, that acolyte needs to go. Them acolytes need to be took down. There's a bunch of thrall below me. The anti-barriers can't hit us, so it's good, it's safe. We can also keep refarming invis, so you'll see me do that. I'm just going to disengage that knight. I've hit with 2 Anarchy, just get so he doesn't shoot at us. We're not ready. I don't think we take the champs just yet. We're not ready for that, because there's a couple of acolytes that I'm worried about. If we start, that's what the ads will do, right? If you're engaging with a champion, they sort of know that, and then they come out of cover to hit you when you're dealing with a champ. You want to try to take out all these acolytes and all these thrall. Now there, you saw that's the skip. So you see the checkpoint change. So haven't seen the footage. The trigger to get to the boss room without having to clear the champions is the acolytes and the thrall. The unstoppable champion is not a trigger. The boss is not a trigger. The anti-barriers are not a trigger. Acolytes and thrall. So if you're doing a run on this, come here, just clear the acolytes. Then you can go to the boss. I could have went in there right now, but I wanted to get ammo off the knights. So as I said, you could, like, if I had max ammo right now, I'm aware. The thing is with that though is, if you go into the boss room, this is the interesting thing. If you go in the boss room, the doors, the garage doors, that you can see to my right will remain open, and all the thrall from this little corridor will push us to the boss. So if we don't do that, like if we clear the ads here, there's less risk. Because when we go in the boss room, obviously the boss won't spawn, but acolytes will. Now I'd rather not have 2 boomer knights shooting at me when I'm dealing with a boss on this. And not only that, I can get chance of heavy, I can use spores of war. They're easy to take out. Right now this is cinch, it's great, this, you know, we're fine. Pretty easy, they can't hit us. So they're worth just taking out. But if you do get the skip, your full ammo, by all means you can. But what I'll tell you is the guide door won't shut immediately. You'll have to engage with the boss, and it's like a minute or so and the guide doors shut. But they don't straight away. You do still have anti-barriers shooting at you in the back. For me, I wasn't going to bet on it and take the risk, so I just cleared them. But at least people will know the skip and what you can actually do with it. Gonna get a reload. Champions a third. Unstoppable won't push us, like I said. I imagine this Unstoppable would push us if he saw us, but he isn't. Second shield break, do a bit of strafing, make sure. And then there's our bricks. We got 2 bricks, ideal. I didn't want to push that brick just in case we got melted. So, saying there was an acolyte, so we use the acolyte for the invis. So we're max on ammo, we're at the boss. So what do you do for the boss fight? Well, the boss fight is by far easier than everything you've done. The boss fight's the easiest part of this. So I'm gonna speed up the footage of the boss fight to make the video below 60 minutes. Which I'll just give a brief explanation why that is. As I was saying earlier, the times of nightfalls are going up and up all the time. I've detailed the progression of it. So, you know, we had the day 1 nightfalls where they used to take 20 minutes or so. Then we got a day 2 and there were the prestige nightfalls, which were in my eyes the best spot we've ever been with nightfalls. D2, year 1 nightfall saved Destiny 2 for me. And Leviathan raid as well, I really like that raid. Those 2 aspects saved me, and I still played double primary heavy and I still liked it. Prestige Nightfalls were so good to solo. The best thing I've ever seen with solos. But we then progressed to the ordeals, right? The ordeals, so the ordeals take longer because champions. So no longer can we speed run them efficiently. I mean, you can in a team and stuff, but you can't get sub 10-minute runs, which is what I used to be now. So the whole thing of it's longer now, right? So now we're on Grandmasters and they're above 60 minutes, so I can't render a video. So for those that don't know what this means, can't render a video sort of longer than 60 minutes. So basically, you know, get the video uploaded to YouTube, etc. from my PlayStation. PlayStation 5, which I was hoping would change this, where you could. Now I should get a capture card and all that stuff. I should do. That's the answer to it. But you know, I may look into that if I'm going to do more Grandmasters. But I'm not going to invest into it if I'm not doing a ton of these Grandmasters. So that's why we end up speeding this footage up so that it's less than 60 minutes. I don't want to make a 2-part video because no one will watch part 2, and that's common sense. I mean, not nobody, but not as many. They'll watch the first part but not the second. And I don't want that. I'd rather it was just in one package. Now, another reason is we're speeding it up is because there's not a lot to it. It's so long that I have more than enough time to explain each part. So right now all we're doing is farm and charge of light. So I said earlier, we've got the high energy fire shield break charge. That's 20% damage buff. So we've got a 20% damage buff on the boss at all times. Like in terms of when we're doing damage. Because whenever you DPS in the boss, you DPS in the boss alone, you don't have ads. When it's ads, you forget about the boss and run away from the boss. Because the boss will melt you fast. So on the first phase, it's as follows. The ad spawns work like this. On the first particular phase, you get Thrall. I can't mind if it's cursed on the first phase, but you get Thrall for sure. If you get a cell like that, shoot it because the cell tests out the area. This area is nasty when Chaff is on. Chaff grants no radar. So if you do get a cell, shoot it because you'll take all the ads out. And number two, you'll have that satisfaction that there's no ads up and you're okay to confront the boss. There's nothing worse if you're doing DPS and you get killed by ads. Now I didn't. This was my first attempt on the boss and I got it done because I already knew all the spawns from the master. Like right now I knew there was an ad spawn there, so I know all the spawns. So this particular phase is acolytes and 3 knights, 3 or 4 arc shielded knights. So they spawn at the top of the map, not at the bottom, so we go bottom. The bottom right hand corner is excellent, so we use the bottom right hand corner like so. We can jump up and do anarchy shots here, but just make sure that you're managing your anarchy, because anarchy is the only thing we have to break arc shields. Now if this was Xenophage and then an arc pulse rifle style, then this bit would be a bit easier in my eyes, because then then you don't have to manage your heavy as much in terms of, because if we run out of anarchy, the arc knights are a problem and we don't have any way of taking their match game shields down. So this is where your anarchy shots really count. This is why I don't burn from my heavy so much. So we're fighting from back here, we're just waiting for any opportunity to like that. Like that was an amazing opportunity just to get some anarchy in, so we've done that. We've done the 2. Try and clear out any arc knights we can. There's an arc knight in the cubby hole at the top, which is good. That's a good thing because we don't want the damage. We don't want to get to the next phase until we're ready for ammo and all that stuff. We also need a shield. We need a high energy fire shield break charge buff, which we're going to get that. Which at the time, see how charge with light works is base charge with light, you get ×2, not ×1 but ×2. But if you get an ability kill on an enemy, you keep your charge of light because it's a weapon based thing. So I finish him to keep charge of light, right? And that way I've kept it. Now to be honest, it wasn't that, actually now thinking it wasn't that important because I could have got it from the boss, but here there, still a way of optimizing. So on the second phase, this is the main second phase if you like. First phase is done, this is the second phase of the fight I would consider. This is sort of just brawl each phase until the boss despawns. So we're going to play underneath because the boss will just sort of sit on top. We can re-invis up. We can get shield breaks, we can use the disruption break on our pulse. Get big damage, and we can farm our nade up. So you can use your nade as a means of good damage. And your hand cannon's good damage. And you don't always have to anarchy every time. I wouldn't recommend it, because it just all depends on what ammo drops you get. If you've got bricks everywhere, yeah, do it. But just know if you're gonna melt the boss like a couple of phases, because there's mini phases within a phase. There's a couple of waves of thrall every now and then, so you're better off just taking it slow. That way you can take out all the thrall and curse comfortably without having like tons of thrall. You're just taking it wave by wave, which is way easier. As you can see, this isn't so bad. So you survive, I'm surviving. The boss sometimes won't shoot you like that, which is weird, but when they do start shooting, you just get out of that. You're just doing a bit of damage at a time. Like right there, I was a bit too overconfident. Don't be overconfident this bit, because it does feel like, okay, this runs it. But I can imagine a wipe happening on this bit, for sure. It didn't happen to me, but it definitely could have. I was lucky here and there. When the boss goes immune though, which will be after this phase I believe, we're going to get unstoppables. That's when you know you're around about halfway through. Now with the unstoppables, it's obviously key to know where they spawn. The first one spawns at the top of the map, and the second one spawns right after. They don't spawn at the same time, which I thought they would have done that. I thought they would have had 2 ogres at the same time, but they haven't done it like that, so it's not so bad. The ogre phase isn't hard at all. You're not going to have problems with that. So now we've got a champion. We do a sewer here, but I was like thinking, should I or not? So I didn't. I retreated. And I done a sewer right here because I know the acolytes spawn in. And the tether wasn't the best because I was going to try and tether the ogre and do that stuff, but ideally you want to just retreat and then do a tether down the bottom when the acolytes push you, because the acolytes are the issue, not this unstop. But if you're in trouble, obviously Nightstalker, you just go in base, dodge, and manage your health. It's all about managing your health. Get a cell explosion there, so we're confident that everything's down. Now we can get ammo. Like, this is a good point. I would assume that someone on a solo is might be low on ammo at this point. So it's a good point to refresh yourself and get ammo back from the ogre because of spoils of war. Right. So we're going to use a bit of Anarchy on him, just to speed it up just that little bit. But we are going to get a finisher kill on him. Try not to spam too much Anarchy because Anarchy can outweigh the spoils of war and you don't get the brick. I would recommend when he gets lowish, try not to. Try not to. Got a brick on the floor. We got 2 bricks, I believe. So we've got 1 brick on the floor. Max ammo, so we're great. Now you saw the second spawn. So the second spawn is at the bottom. 1 normal ogre, 1 unstoppable. The unstoppable won't push you up the hill, providing that you play as I am. We can do some Anarchy shots when we want. Nade. We're going to get a finisher kill on this one as well, because after the unstoppable dies, the boss will spawn at the top of the map, which is ideal. We can. We've got another brick on the floor, which is great. We're always thinking about the next couple of phases because there is a ton of Arc Knights, and you need plenty of Anarchy just to safely take them. Now we're going to use a super here. This is ideal because the boss sort of won't hit you. So we've done some Anarchy in tether. We might have got more than 1 phase there, I'm not sure, but that's fine. I guess we can use our nade for that. Now I am playing with no audio music on as well, like in-game audio, just because I play so much Destiny that nice just playing with just hearing the audio of the weapons rather than the music. Or the music in this game is amazing, don't get me wrong, but sometimes when you try and concentrate on something and just knock the audio off. I know a ton of players that do this. It used to be a thing we used to do in day 1 when you were doing, challenges. Knock the audio off. Just knock it off because you're concentrating. You're not just doing some sort of, pinnacle reward. You're doing something difficult. I just knocked it off. That's why it's off. The boss will go immune at a 3rd HP or just below, so we're close to that. We're just going to keep dodging him, whizzing under the bridge, Anarchy up when we want. Got another phase here. We always make sure we have a nade for that phase as well. It just helps it out. But this is where the obviously this boss is very tanky. Imagine without ING Fire Shield Break. This is going to take even longer for damage. You're going to take more ammo. That's why I highly recommend, use your cell build. Cells help out massively for the previous rooms, but having the high NG shield break makes things way more consistent in terms of just putting your ammo out and everything. The boss seems to be a bit more aggressive later on in the stage of the fight, so just be aware of that. Try not to stand in the smoke so much as well, get you weak. Now Anarchy is really important on the last couple of phases, as you're gonna have 2 to 3 main sort of phases of this last phase. In terms of knights spawning, cursed and thrall. So you've got to be on top of those knights. There's no radar of course, and they can kind of sneak up on you as well, a little bit. Obviously that's why we got the game audio switched off so we can hear. Like I heard that night there creeping up on us. Otherwise I might not have done. So just always be aware of that. Night's Anarchy, it's fine. When the night dies, the next phase spawns in. So it's kind of weird this final phase because they're based on a timer as well. They're not based on ad. They're not based on the boss's HP. I mean, one of the phases is. It's weird how it works. It's quite strange. We're going to do a tether here because we're in danger. And there's a ton of cursed up. And there was a knight that could have wiped us there. So that's why we done a server. Obviously, the full thing's long. So, you know, you get a server, what, idle time, 5-6 minutes. That's fine, we're okay to use a server because we're going to get it back. And we're just using that for when it is crucial to do so. So I wasn't sure if there was another knight alive or not, but I guess there wasn't. That's what I was looking for. So now we can do DPS. Fine, so we can just use our ammo. Anarchy, get the 20% damage buff. The boss will retreat, but this bridge area is the best way to do damage because the boss can't hit you. That's the biggest deal with it. It just goes to show, that's another thing as well. Obviously I do comment in all sort of videos I do, you know. But doing it at 2 times speed, I can comfortably narrate what's going on. That just shows you how slow you've got to play in a Grandmaster. If that makes sense to people. So that's what I'm saying, the identity of Nightfalls are going to something else. I say, leave the sweat, like, yeah it should be sweaty. But leave the ultra sweaty to maybe something more like the dungeon. Give the dungeon champion. Give the dungeon a contest modifier. Okay? Because that, and then tie solo rewards to it. If they really want to do it, they really want to say, okay, we'll design a solo seal or something, then do it. But don't put something in the game that people want to have a go at soloing at, where you haven't designed it for solo players in the first part, because all it's doing is just annoying people who make this stuff. People who watch it, they won't be annoyed because they'll want to see the strat on it, but people who have to make this stuff, right, might well be annoyed about it. You know? They might not have the time to practice a thing that takes an hour each time. You know, they won't. So that's just what I think about it. But having said that, I've enjoyed this one more than a lot of the other Grandmasters. So it's actually a good one. It's not so bad compared to the standard. Apart from that long range encounter, which, because I'm on a hunter, struggled. Other than that, like the boss fight, I really like the boss fight. Now we're going to use a tether to finish the boss off, but that was the solo Grandmaster Nightfall. Like I said, it wasn't platinum rank, but this is for people who want to get their seal. This is for the triumph for the seal. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.